We're all right. Welcome everybody back to another amazing episode of Spotlight on Amputees. Our last one that we had with Isaac was fantastic. If you haven't watched that already, go back and take a look at that. Yeah, he said was gracious enough to sit down and tell us his story a little bit, talk to us, and yeah, it was definitely an interesting one. I'll say that to see somebody's leg being to have their leg taken off by a tractor is definitely something that definitely an interesting story. So, um, we have another great show for you guys today. We have somebody who I reached out to several different communities and, was wanting to kind of just see and test the waters and see if anybody out there wanted to tell their story, yeah, as many of you know, I've been doing this for quite a while and been trying to get everything up and running, getting everything going with it, and it's been going pretty good so far. So, um, I would like to take to this time to thank our sponsors, Bulow Prosthetics, Vans, um, Majors Mess Hall, and Taggart and Torrens. So, with that, I want to bring up our special guest today. This is a gentleman that reached out and said, "Hey, tell me a little bit about his story and tell me a little bit about himself." And was somebody that, I definitely thought would be good for the channel, somebody I thought that you guys would be interested in hearing about. And, with that, we're going to bring up our good friend Terry. So, here we go. Mr. Terry, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Josh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You doing all right today?
Absolutely. Great
Right
day.
on, right on. You're in California. What's it feeling like there? It's burning up here.
Yeah, it's warm. It's hot today in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah. Here in Nashville, it's about probably yeah, we're about the same. So I think everywhere is about the same right
Yeah.
now. well, like I said, I put an ad out. Or not an ad, but just kind of like a little post, and was just kind of seeing if anybody wanted to, be on this and just kind of tell their story. And you was one of the first people that reached out and was, and your story was definitely something that grabbed me, and I thought was just really interesting. More so than a lot of the other folks. So I definitely wanted to reach out to you and have you on for sure. So would you mind telling us a little bit about your story and telling us how you lost your leg?
Sure, no problem. I lost my leg on February 22nd of 2021.
Mhm.
It's kind of a strange story. I'm originally from Anaheim, California, grew up in Southern California, and I had been living up in Northern California. So I went on vacation down to Los Angeles and went to the beach like I normally do. And I had stepped on a bottle cap, and it turns out that the bottle cap had strep and staph on the actual bottle cap. I
Wow.
didn't think, yeah, I didn't think it was a big deal. It was a tiny little cut, so I didn't really pay much attention to it. And at the time, I was married, and my wife had noticed when I got out of the shower that my foot was really red. So I called my doctor, and he said just go straight to the hospital. And when I did, they admitted me right away, and I had a pretty bad infection, and the infection had gotten into my bone, and then actually into my bloodstream. So I spent all of 2020 in and out of the hospital. I had a total of 8 surgeries. Um, they continued to cut away at my foot more and more.
Right.
Um, and it eventually got to the point where they had to take the foot and part of the leg to prevent the infection from moving further and doing more damage than it did. Um, it was tough because they had to put a port in me, and I was injecting antibiotics 3 times a day for 6 weeks. Still had the infection, and it was touch and go there for a while. Um, it was additionally kind of tough for me because it was 2020, and that was during COVID, so I couldn't have visitors. And when you lose your leg and you're in the hospital, and you want to be around family and friends, and I was unable to do that. But one of the nurses, she had come up with an idea where she would fill up a glove with warm water and tie it off and put it in my hand like I was holding somebody's hand. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, that really helped. But
Huh.
yeah, in the beginning, it was hard for me. I didn't have anyone I can really go to and talk to. And being an amputee, once you lose your leg, one of the hardest things is going home and figuring out how you're going to deal. When I was in the hospital, I was pretty upbeat and saying, "Oh, I could do this." I really thought that I could go home and just, it would be like anything else, and it wasn't. Um,
It's a different
really,
world now.
yeah, it's really hard. After showering became like an Olympic event. It's like in the beginning you don't know what to do, and I suffered many falls and injured my back and some other things like that. But I was so anxious to get up and go back to work that 3 days after I got my first prosthetic, I took a job at a car dealership, which turned out to be the dumbest thing I could have done. But I did it, and I basically learned how to walk at that dealership. And what happened was my scar wasn't all the way healed. It ripped open, and my tibia, the bone, my front bone, ended up coming through my leg. So, on hot days, I didn't know if it was sweat inside my liner or blood, and I'd have to go in the bathroom and take my liner off and clean the blood out and
Yeah.
put more Band-Aids on and, go back out there and get back to work until I finally said, I can't do this. And I ended up working there for about 4 months before I finally stopped and filled out paperwork for disability. And now I'm on disability currently, but I do want to go back to work. Um, I had a really tough time in the beginning, especially after I lost my job. And my wife left me too. So all at once, my wife left, and she, for good reason. I was not a fun person to be around at the time. I was drinking about a handle of vodka a day, and I was doing that for. I mean, I drank before all this happened, but I didn't really have a serious problem with alcohol until they took my leg. And that's when I started drinking really heavy and mixing alcohol with painkillers. And there was a suicide attempt and an overdose. And
Oh,
I'm really,
wow.
yeah, it was, there was a couple of times I was flatlined. And luckily, best thing that ever happened to me was I got arrested for DUI. A lot of people don't usually say that's a good thing, but um, since that day, I haven't had a drink, and that was back in 2021. And I don't take painkillers anymore.
It's the
Um,
whole wake up call thing. I get it.
yeah, it
Yeah.
happens. People go through it, and it was. I thought living with one leg was going to be a lot easier than it actually was, and I was shocked when I found out how difficult it was. But now it's completely changed my life. I think I'm a better person for it. Um, I quit taking. They put me on antidepressants, and I kind of just laid around for a year, not doing anything, and I quit taking them because I wasn't myself, and now I don't take any antidepressants or painkillers. I have a surgery coming up to help with pain, and they're going to install a spinal stimulator in my back on June 10th, which I'm excited about because there still is a lot of pain that goes along with it. And this surgery blocks the pain signals from going to your brain. So
Hmm.
it's helped a lot of people, and I'm really excited about it. It's the same company that invented the pacemaker, and it's really exciting stuff. I can't wait to try it out. So that's coming up
Absolutely.
on June 10th. Yeah.
Okay. What I did was what's called a sympathetic nerve block. Do you know what that is? Did they ever try that with you? Whatever
They
you had
haven't
like the
tried it, yeah, but they brought
what
it up.
you know what I'm talking about though, where they have like the catheter that goes like up in your leg and it's like constantly feeding you basically it's just like a mix of like numbing medication and a painkiller, you know.
Yeah.
But that that really helps. I mean, obviously if it's numb, it's not going to hurt. So, you know,
Right.
that win-win there. But man, whenever they take it out and whenever that goes away, because they send you home with that kind of thing, and you it helps to get home and adjust to everything a little bit better. And it
Yeah.
helps to once you get there, you can kind of, you know, get used to your new normal a little bit before that pain really sets in. And then all of a sudden you just, man, it like really starts to become overwhelming. Like you said,
Mhm.
it's a new world. It's a completely new world. The house and the place that you once knew is completely different, and you got to learn how to maneuver your way around and navigate what used to be extremely familiar is now like, you know, a completely new house to you.
Right. Yeah. And I really didn't realize that because, well, in the beginning, a friend of a friend who had lost his leg a year before I lost mine, um, kind of helped to tell me, oh, you're going to have to get a shower bench and you're going to have to do this and you're going to have to do that. And it was really beneficial me having that person to talk to. Um, and unfortunately, he took his own life and passed away. But
Oh wow.
before that happened, he really helped me out. And it was, just the little pointers that he used to help me out with. He even sent me like a care package of like things that you need that you don't necessarily have. And he had sent me a pair of gloves for when I was in my wheelchair initially, and just did a lot of good things for me. And if I could do that for one person or maybe two or however many, just to help someone if they have any questions like what's it going to be like, new amputees, things like that, I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's great, dude. Absolutely. And there's a lot of stuff that people don't think about that, you know, the supplies and that kind of stuff that we need, you know, for wheelchairs and so. Well, I mean, wheelchairs and that kind of stuff aside, you know, wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, aside. There's gloves for your wheelchair. Because I don't know if anybody's ever tried to operate a wheelchair all day long without gloves on.
Yeah.
It's, dude, your palms, you'll have like a black streak across your hands where they've just been burned in from you trying to stop it.
Hmm.
It's not pleasant. And if you try to use the little locking things, you'll go flying straight forward right into the floor. So just don't do that. But but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that that a lot of people don't think about, you know. Um, so yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, hey,
One of the things that I didn't think about
mhm,
or didn't know about was phantom pain. And
I was
I,
going to ask you about that.
yeah, I remember the doctor, when they finally took my leg, I was going, just cut it off. It hurts so bad. I just can't wait for you to cut it off because then the pain will go away. And that's incorrect. I thought once they cut the foot off that the pain would go with it, but the phantom pain that comes along with that is it can be pretty intense.
Yeah. I have a video on my channel that talks a lot about phantom pain
Hmm.
and what it is and how to rewire your brain to not think about it, you know, because everybody's like, well, try the mirror method, try the
Yeah.
whatever, the feather and the itch in the toe and the, you know, that's not going to work. You can try it
It
all you
doesn't
want.
work for
And
me.
if it
Yeah.
does work, you know, if it works, God bless. I have, you know, hey, whatever, that's awesome. But you know, there's you basically just got to hardwire your mindset and just tell yourself, look, it's not there. You know,
Yeah.
think whatever you want, feel whatever. Look, dude, you got to understand. Talking to yourself, you know, you got to understand. It's it's gone. It is gone. 100%. Make peace with it. Learn to, you know, that feeling that you're feeling. It's not real. It's, you know, because I for so long I tried to reach for a foot that, you know, it's like it's itching and I'm gonna like, you know, do this
Yeah.
weird like scratch in the air thing, and
Hmm.
none of that works, you know.
Yeah.
um I want to take just a second. We have quite a few people coming into our chat here, and I just want to say hi to everybody real quick if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Plus, there's several folks that want to say hi to you as well. We have Miss Janie AR15, T Dam, Miss Dennis Oles, good seeing you. Terry M, I got your question here. One second, brother. Let me see here. Little Hellbilly, hey, hey. Spencer, good seeing you. Janie again. All right. Let me see. Terry had a question I wanted to ask you real quick. He wanted to let me see here. Where is it? There it goes. I think he was talking about the Terry, if you're still here, let me see. Were you talking about the hey Miss Paula? Um the nerve stimulus thing he was talking about? I believe that's what it was.
Oh, okay. The
The
spinal
back stimulator.
stimulator.
Yeah, spinal
Yeah.
stimulator.
Yeah. The name of the company that manufactures it is wow, I forget the name off the top of my head. Anyways, but there's several different kind of spinal stimulators, and I just recently learned about them. So I'm really looking forward to it. It says they help a lot of people, especially amputees and people that have nerve pain, and um, it's very successful in treating that. And so what they do basically is on June 10th they're going to go in and they put the leads inside of your spine. So they go from the bottom of your spine all the way to the top. And then there's
So like up both sides of it?
yeah, there's two wires. They look like wires, and
Okay.
they surgically put those in between your spine, like in the little holes within your vertebrae.
Mm-hmm.
And they run it up your spine. And then you have like a little, like the pacemaker, they put that on the outside for the first 7 days, and they see if it actually works. If it doesn't work, then they don't go through with the surgery because they implant that in your body.
Right.
With
Yeah, I've
the
seen them like up
battery.
here in people's chests before.
Yeah, that's the pacemakers. So
Yeah.
yeah, this they put it in your lower back, I think, and it takes 6 weeks to recover from that. But uh, I mean, they say that the pain relief is a lot. I mean, it really helps out, and I couldn't be more excited to get it done. So yeah,
Yeah. That's what Loki. What's up, Loki? He said that surgery don't sound like fun. I wouldn't imagine. But I
yeah. Well,
mean,
I don't know. After getting your leg cut off, any surgery kind of seems
that's
like a piece of
exactly what I
cake.
was getting ready to
Yeah,
say.
it's like once they take your leg, it's like you could do anything, you know.
Yeah,
And
man, it's
pain
going
is
to
not as
sleep and waking up at this point. You go to sleep, you wake up. We've had so
it's
many surgeries.
yeah, I know. It's like I was in and out of the hospital so much and having major surgery. It was funny when I did. Well, it wasn't funny, but when they did take my leg, I was in the hospital and my really good friend Miles gave me a call and I was still kind of out of it from the anesthesia, but he asked for Lieutenant Dan and just a little Forrest Gump humor there, and it really made me laugh at the time. And you're pretty bummed when you wake up and see that your leg's gone. So just that little bit of humor really helps out, and it was good fun.
I always look for the humor in it. Like even when I was there at the hospital, I I don't know. Like I woke up, you know, it was probably the day, not the day after, that day after, like waking up and initially seeing your leg for the first time. Because I woke up and I saw it after surgery, but I was still so out of it that you kind of go back to sleep and you sleep the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And that next morning when I woke up, that's when it like, oh man, that's when it really hits you that this has really happened. Like
Yeah.
this is real. This isn't like we're talking about it. This is maybe it will happen. No, it's real. This is your life now. That part sucked about it, but the day after, I found myself trying to like make jokes about it and be more
Mhm.
humorous about it. People would come in and I don't know, it'd just be like, I want my money back or something. I came in here and now I'm leaving with, half my body parts gone. What the hell, what is this all about?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I tried to look for the humor in any bit of it that I possibly could. Even still, I'm a very self-deprecating person when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm the
Yeah,
first to make fun of me. That's just the way it goes.
yeah,
But having a good mindset and a good sense of humor about it is definitely going to get anybody through it. Any new amputee or anybody that's just having difficulty with it. Period. Because there's people still 5, 6, 7 years on that are still they're not at peace with who they are now.
right.
They're just not. And sad enough to say they probably never will be. And I see those people and talk to them a lot, and it's horrible. And I have seen the other side of it, we'll say.
Yeah,
And it will yeah, that shit will never leave your brain, because I go to hospitals and talk to people that have just lost their limbs, or stuff like that. Like, they're literally day ones, and
mhm,
when I go in and chat with them, and I can tell if their mind's in the right place or if it's not. And not everybody's going to be. That's 100% fact. Not everybody's going to be. But what really sucks is to get that phone call or whatever, 4 or 5 weeks later, that it was just too much.
yeah,
And I get those quite often. And that part, man, that's one of the hardest things about what I do, is just like, hey, I just want to tell you, and it's just like, oh man, it's like, dude, he was doing good. Like, I was just talking to him, or he or she, and
hmm,
and that's a rough part of a reality of what we do. And I put that on here, and that kind of stuff. I put that kind of content in here. I don't really say names or anything like that, because it does kind of more or less show the harsh reality of the life that we lead.
yeah,
I don't try to be like doom and gloom, or all the time or anything like that, but it does tend to be a little bit more serious over here. And we try to really drive home that this is a pretty wild life that we have. It's not one we
yeah,
chose, but it's one that we have. And we're just
yeah.
making good with what we got.
Yeah, that my friend that actually ended up taking his life. He was younger than I was, and he was a good-looking guy. You know, um, that got along well with the ladies, and after he lost his right leg, and he would tell me, "You don't know, it's so much different. I can't drive anymore. I have to have my mom or my friends drive me where I want to go, and I feel like a burden." And there was just a lot of stuff weighing on him, and he ended up not being able to make it through. But there's a lot of people that happens to, and I was almost one of them, but I'm glad I came out on the other side of that. And now they say, if you can talk about it without crying, you're healed. So I think I'm there, and
Yeah,
I'm a lot better, and everything. I'm really excited about this spinal stimulator and all the other positive things that are going on for me. So,
absolutely. Well, it sounds like it's going to give you that quality of life back. I mean, obviously, we'll never be the way it was before, but
right.
it gives you some kind of quality of life back. And hey, if that shit, man, I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you can't go wrong there. I mean, that's just shoot, that is what it is. When you did, what was your physical therapy like? As far as I know, you hit on it earlier, but to get a little bit more in detail about it, what kind of physical therapy did you do? Like, how long did you go for?
I went to one session
Oh
and
wow.
quit. Yeah, I went to one session, and I didn't think that I was really benefiting from it. So I just said, you know what, I'll do this on my own. And I did that. I did it the incorrect way by going to work and doing it that way at the dealership. That was kind of my therapy, was walking the lot. And
Yeah, I remember you said that.
that was my physical therapy, and that's what I did. I did go to one session, and not saying that it was bad, but it just, I'd rather do, kind of on the go, get my therapy in real life situations. Now, I ride my bike a lot, and I can't really run that well. So I bought a rowing machine, and I've been rowing. Um, and it's really cool because it has a little monitor where you can row in different areas of the world, and it,
Oh, cool.
yeah,
So
it's
you
a
can actually, it's like a virtual thing.
yeah, yeah, and you
Oh,
can you
see,
can
you
row
wouldn't be
like
able to get me off that.
yeah,
I'd just be on that all the time.
it's really cool. I do it every morning, and I've never been into rowing. It's fun. My niece is on the rowing team in high school, and she's got bigger shoulders than me now. And I was like going, well, I got to get on this rowing thing. So yeah, I just recently started. I bought it about a month ago, so I'm really into it right now.
Very cool. And it has like the seat will go back and forth and everything, like the
Yeah,
whole
and it has
wow.
a thing that fills with water, so when you're pulling back, you can hear the water going. Like it's actually like you're out on the water, and it's really cool.
Okay. So you're doing a lot of like basic just like home therapy, it sounds like,
Yeah,
kind of just working with by yourself more or less.
yeah.
Well,
Well, that's
very, very
another thing
cool.
too. They don't tell you when you lose your leg and you quit drinking, you lose a lot of friends. And people don't talk about that as much. Like sometimes, well, when you think about it, your real friends will always be there, but some of the friends that kind of fall off are the ones that where Terry can't go hiking anymore, or he can't, let's not call him for this or that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a blow to your psyche, and um, but I'm in a much better position now than I was back when I was like, drinking and doing all that dumb stuff anyway. But I had to go through it, and the friends that are still here, I love them, and I'm glad they're here, that they support me. And the ones that fell off, they fell off. So
Well, I definitely think you made quite a few friends here tonight. I'll say that for sure. These
oh, thanks,
all the people that
thank
come
you,
to my
Justin.
chats and stuff, they're great folks. They really are. So,
Good
but
deal.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome, man. Let's see. Red Eyed Patriot had something he had to say here. How you doing, Red Eyed? By the way, good seeing you, brother. So my uncle was an amputee from the late '80s up to last year. He's now a double amputee, but he's out and about and said he'll walk again, and he did. Well, that's awesome. Does he have? I would assume that he has probably sea legs, like what we were talking about. I think beforehand, you and I were talking about having being above the knee and that kind of stuff,
Yeah,
and having double above the knee, being able to walk on that. I couldn't imagine. And I know a guy that actually does, and it's it's wild seeing him do it. I mean, hey,
yeah,
it's one of those things when you get used to it, you just it becomes second nature to it. It's just kind of the
yeah.
way it is.
I started off in a pin lock system, um, and then they transferred me over to a suction system, which I'm in now. That it's really good. I like it a lot, and I'm a Dodger fan, and so they went ahead and decorated my leg with the
Of
Dodgers
course,
logo, and
yeah, of
uh,
course.
I get a lot of comments at ball games and stuff like that. But it's a lot of fun.
How does the sleeves and stuff? Does those bother you? Do you?
Um, at first, it was really bulky when I had the pin lock because I had to wear a sleeve inside and outside,
Yeah,
on over it, and it gets really bulky in the back of your leg. There's a lot of silicone in there. Where
yeah,
your
it bunches
pin
up.
bunches up. But now I only wear the one sleeve underneath my socket, so I don't have to wear the two sleeves, and that's a lot. It's not as hot, and
Oh yeah.
it's a lot easier to maneuver and stuff like that. So
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that was so strange for me. And my prosthetist was telling me that he was like, you get to experience both, which not a lot of people do that, being
yeah,
below the knee and then above the knee. He's like, yes, it happens, but not a whole lot. He's like, so there's going to be different changes. You know, he's like, basically the socket that you're going to get, you know, for your above knee is going to be a lot different. You know, there is no more, because I was like, where's my sleeve? Where's my? He's like, no, there's no sleeve. There's, you know, he's like, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
So, but the socket I have now is all like, it works on a magnet. So
Hmm.
I'll have to show it to you later on. There's a
Yeah.
video on my channel about it, but yeah, I'll send you some information. It's called the Autobot Buros. No,
Huh?
yeah, the Autobot Buros 2 socket is what it is. But it has like the VOA system on it, you know, the like the crank, like with the
Yeah.
cables and all that. So pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I really, really do love that leg. It's, I mean, it's awesome. Like I said, I like to show off and showcase all the parts and pieces that I have, you
Hmm.
know, that kind of stuff. But that was actually my next question is, what kind of components do you have right now? Like, what is your foot and your, I'm sure your socket and everything would probably be just like your standard carbon fiber socket, you know,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
what else do you got?
It's I have well, my leg guy, Luke, over at Pacific Medical in Roseville, California. They do a great job. Um, he set me up with this leg. It's got. I'll kind of give you a quick glimpse.
Yeah.
It's got a hose. Um, so this is the actual leg, and then it has the hose that it has a pump in the foot, and the pump keeps suction on the whole uh, socket here, so it holds the leg on really really well, and I love it. It's so much better than my pin lock because with the pin lock, it really it was kind of painful in the front part of my bone where it rubbed on my tibia quite a bit, and that leg was pretty painful. And once I got this one, it was like the pain was gone. It was great. I really have gotten
You're
used to it, and I take it all over the place.
nice. See, your old one was just like crashing down in there.
Yeah, there was a
Like,
lot of
yeah.
what they call pistoning,
Yeah,
where
right.
just and that would I developed um, a blister, and I'd have to take it off for weeks at a time, until the blister healed and stuff like that. It was kind of a pain. This I don't really deal with that as much, and
Right.
it doesn't rub or piston, and it's been a great leg for me.
Nice. Very, very cool. So you're
Yeah.
not having to put any socks or anything like that just yet?
I don't
Nothing
wear
like
any
that?
socks. Yeah,
Nice.
it's just my liner and my socket.
Yeah. That's always such a good feeling too, you know, without having to, because it's nice having padding, of course, but
Yeah.
man, if you don't have to stuff it, all that shit down inside there to get it, pardon my language, to get it to, you know, I don't know. It just feels nice when it just goes down there and it fits, you know, real solid and everything. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
I had to play
That's
the
what I love
sock
about
game.
the BOA system.
Yeah, I had to play the sock game with my um, pin lock, and I was up to like 6 socks, and it's just so bulky and hot, and it's a big difference.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
It's like 6 ply altogether.
yeah,
Yeah, that's yeah. I've been up to like 10 ply. I mean, it's
hmm,
insane. It's about like I was saying in one of my videos, like putting a beanie on the end of your leg and putting your leg
yeah,
down there like that. You know,
exactly
it's
what.
like that's pretty much. You know.
Yeah.
Um. Well, I got yeah. We'd already talked about what kind of changes it made in your career, that kind of thing. You said you're wanting to get back out there. What are you looking at? What are you thinking about?
Well, that's kind of up in the air right now. I'm working with Social Security. They have a ticket to work program where disabled people go back to work. And they had mentioned going to work for the state of California. Um, and I would do anything. My background is all over the place. I played a little football after college, and then after that, I worked in the entertainment industry in Hollywood. I did props and set dressing. I started off working in a prop house, and then worked on commercials and TV shows, and then movies. and I did that for about 8 years. And then after that, I got into sales where I was selling construction based supplies on big ticket items. Um, and I did that for a number of years. And, I could probably go back to doing that. But right now, I'm open to see what's available. It kind of has to be something where I'm not on my feet all the time, because I tried to go that route and it didn't come out very well. So
Yeah.
um, I'm still open to what I'm going to be doing, and it's we'll see what happens. You know, I'm still
I got you.
I still got to talk to a lot of different people and figure out what's the best option for me.
Yeah, a lot of moving pieces still. I
Hmm.
get it.
Yeah.
But your other foot and everything's fine. Like there's
Hmm.
nothing, no issues there. So all good with that. It's just
All good. Yeah. I
cool,
have a
cool.
little bit of nerve pain that shoots down my leg sometimes, but other than that, everything's fine. Yeah, I still got a good foot.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because of that, because we put a lot more pressure on that other foot that,
Hmm.
it does. It starts to affect the good leg, the meat leg as the people
Yeah.
call it. So I like to ask that question a lot to people just to see, how are you doing with that? Because that pain will kind of shoot straight up over into the other leg and go
Yeah.
down,
Which is
and
very,
it can cause issues, especially if you're uneven.
yeah. I've had a little bit of callus buildup on my other foot because it works a lot harder now.
Yeah.
But I go to the podiatrist like once every 3 months, and she cuts it down so it doesn't cause any problems or anything.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Good. That's awesome. Um, Yeah, that's because, man, if you don't, that can get out of control like really,
Yeah.
really fast. And when you only have one foot, you really, really need to depend on that and take as best possible care of it you possibly can.
I baby and clean my good foot like crazy. Stare
Absolutely.
at it, look at it in the mirror, make sure nothing's going on.
I have a
Yeah.
box. I put it in at night, and
Yeah.
no. When you first lost your limb, like when you were, because we all did the sit at home healing up, kind of sitting around, just watching YouTube or watching Netflix or whatever. Was there anybody that kind of caught your attention? Anybody, like any YouTube channels or any you like,
Oh yeah.
Instagram people, anybody like that you could maybe suggest
Yeah.
to my audience?
Absolutely. Well, you had mentioned Ben Lavelle and Footless Joe.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of those. I have an acquaintance of mine. He's from Anaheim, but his name's Mike Ball, and he has a YouTube channel. And he's. I'll let him tell everyone his story, but he's moving to Alabama. I think right now. I think he might be on the road, um, moving to Alabama. But he was one of the guys that I really followed. Um, because he had lost his leg and gone through a lot of the same things that I went through, and we were kind of from the same neighborhood and knew the same people. He's a lot younger than I am, but I followed him. His name's Mike Ball, and he's on Instagram. And then, yeah, like I mentioned, the Ben Lavelle, I really follow him, and he's been through it, and he
Yeah.
recently had some trials going through with his meat leg, then was
Yeah.
worried about what was going on with that, and I followed that really closely. And he motivates me because he's such an avid, he works out a lot and is always hiking and working out in the gym and doing all kinds of stuff like that. So
Yep.
I follow him quite a bit and have since I lost my leg. Yeah.
Yep, and Ben runs what's called Amp Camp too for the
Yeah.
kids.
Hmm.
He does that every year too.
That's
Which
awesome.
Amp Camp, I would love to get Ben on here. I've actually spoke with him, and he's a lot bigger content creator than I am. So he was just like, "Hey, my name." He's like, "Hey, sounds good. I'd really be interested in doing that. Let me." check back with you later on. Got a lot going on right now with summertime coming up. I was like, hey, I
Yeah.
totally get it. And I never really heard back from him, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I have heard back from Kurt Yeager, which you know who
Okay.
Kurt Yeager is, and
Yeah.
we're gonna interview him as well. So he's gonna be on here. So you're gonna be an awesome company. So there's
Yeah.
lots of
Cool.
great people I got lined up for being on here.
Great.
Something that when you and I had spoke kind of behind the scenes, you had mentioned was you played NFL Europe. Is that right?
I played football over in Europe. Yeah. I'm on a
Okay.
team in Switzerland. It was after college.
Oh, hold on a second. Hey, I think we lost Terry. Hey, Terry, hold on. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Hold on. I lost you. I think you dropped out. Tell you what, if you can hear me, go out and come back in. Maybe try that. So here, I can't hear you. All right, let's try this. So we are having technical difficulties, people. Give us 1 second. All right, Terry, give me 1 second, buddy. All right. Tell you what, go out and then come back in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna boot you out, and yep, and then come right back in. So we are experiencing technical difficulties, my friends. Give us 1 second, and we will be right back with you. But yeah, Terry played football over in Europe, and I thought that was really really cool. It's an offshoot of the NFL, and I don't know. I thought that was pretty neat. So I wanted you guys to hear about that. I thought before we go and before we wrap everything up, I wanted you to hear about Terry's football. So we are trying to get him back as we speak. But yeah, his audio just dropped out on us altogether. I'm not sure what happened. So if we can't get him back, then what we might do, let me see. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Am I back?
All right. There we go, my man. All
All
right.
right. Sorry
So
about that.
technical difficulties. No worries.
Yeah.
No worries. No worries.
So
Let me
yeah,
see.
I
Before
played
we get
for a
back into
little
that,
while.
1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Miss Denise here had something. I was curious to see what she had to say.
Okay.
Um, let's see. Oh, hold on 1 second, Miss Denise. We're gonna do questions here in just a minute from everybody because I'm sure people do have questions. So give us 1 second though, and we got you covered. So I do apologize. We were talking about football.
Yeah, I played a little bit overseas. It was a lot of fun, and I did that for a couple years, and then came back. And when I came back to California, that's when I started working in the entertainment industry.
Okay,
So
right
yeah.
on. So I mean, have you ever thought about, and this is just like wild speculations, but have you ever thought about like anything like working with colleges and schools and stuff like that
Oh
in
yeah,
their
absolutely.
athletic training department or anything to that
Yeah.
effect?
Actually, one of the guys that I played with, his name's James Wood. He uh, he works with a lot of athletes, young athletes, and he was the quarterback on our team. And
Okay.
he played at University of Florida, and he works with young kids and in high school and things like that. And he's also a pastor now. So
Nice.
yeah, he's doing good things with kids all over the place down in Florida.
Right on. Good deal. Good deal. It's always good to hear about stuff like that, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to take this bowl of crap that we're given and turn it into something amazing,
Yeah.
and that's all you really can do. And I think that's definitely important to remember is we're just people out there trying to make it. That's what we're doing. We're not trying to say, hey, look at us, aren't we great, or anything like that. It's just more or less, you know, we can do things. It's like you said before. I mean, it kind of I'm kind of dwelling back on what you said, where friends don't really call you as much as they did before,
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff. That kind of like hit me in the chest. I was like, yes, you're exactly right, and that
Yeah.
part absolutely sucks. Because I like going fishing. I'm just a
Mhm.
big fishing guy. I live here in Nashville, Tennessee, so I'm like right in the middle of Tennessee. There's lakes and creeks and everything all around us. So we're just big fishing people here. Well, do you think when I lost my leg that people were calling me to, hey, we're going to go wade the river, we're going to go do this? I got
Yeah.
to go do all that on my own now,
Mm.
and that's fine. It's not poor little old me. It's just one of those like, well, hey, whatever. I
Take some
can't go the places they can go. I can't go, deep into the deeper water and that kind of stuff. I get swept away now. I mean, as well as I do.
Yeah.
And it's so, yeah, that part of it does suck. But Terry, I
Hmm.
can't thank you enough, my brother. Thank you
Uh,
so much for coming and hanging
yeah.
out with us and being a part of this. This has been absolutely amazing. There's one thing I like to ask everybody before we wrap it up, and then we'll take a few questions from people. We'll take like 5 or 10 minutes. See if
Yeah.
anybody has anything they want to ask. But what I like to ask people is if you could go back and talk to yourself before you had your amputation, and I'm talking like night before, not like, 6 years before. No, I'm talking about that night before, you're getting ready to lose your leg. What are you going to tell yourself? What is something that you'd be like, look, Terry, this is something, be ready for it because this part of it is going to really suck.
Yeah.
What
Um,
would that be? What would you say?
I would really focus on letting myself know, hey, life is about to get extremely difficult and you need to be ready for that. I was not prepared. I went into this thing not prepared for, all the stuff that happens after you come home from the hospital and all that stuff. I wish I would have had somebody that would have said, hey, man, the first time you take a shower is going to be one of the hardest things you've ever done, and I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't prepared. And it kind of hit me like a ton of bricks. And I handled it the wrong way by trying to drown my sorrows and things of that nature. I just wish I would have handled it better right out of the gates. And I wish I would have had someone that could have told me that. So, for anyone that's thinking about having an amputation, if you don't know if you're going to do it, or if you know you're going to do it and you don't know what to expect, um, I'm on Instagram. Bionic Brown is my name. Reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to go over every little detail with you so you guys can get it right on the first time.
There you go. There you go. That is amazing. And all of Terry's socials and everything that that he wants being put out there, they'll be linked in the description and everything of this episode. Maybe not be tonight because it has to upload to YouTube and do its whole thing, but probably by tomorrow midday afternoon, something like that. It'll be up there.
Great.
So that would be awesome. Well, again, Mr. Terry, I greatly appreciate everything, man.
Yeah, Josh. Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
me. I
much
really
for
appreciate it.
for taking the time to come and talk to my audience and talk to my little crew I got here, and just taking the time out of your life just to share your story with us, man. Not a lot of people want to do that, and you stepped up and was like, hey, man, I got you. So that's something that I think we're all grateful for, man. And having said that, I think we're gonna probably hang out for about another probably 5-10 minutes, something like that. If you got that time, do you have a
Yeah,
few minutes
sure.
to hang out? If anybody has questions or something like that.
Yeah. Sure.
Cool, cool. Well, let me give a little shout out to the people here again. We got Miss Denise wandered in, or no, Miss Denise has already been here. What am I saying? Let's see, Atlanta girl. We got Loki. We got Mr. Ralph is here. Terry's still in there hanging out with us. So, does anybody have any questions or anything for Terry while we got him here, and anything that you would want to possibly know? If so, then now would be the time. If anybody would you know want to come up or anything like that, just say, hey, drop the link. If not, then that's fine too. But yeah, with this YouTube channel, what I like to do is again bring awareness to a community that I don't think gets a whole lot of recognition, and definitely something that you don't see a whole lot of on YouTube. Again, we were saying before, you see your Footless Joes and Amy Breams and people like that, but you don't really see the smaller guy. You don't see a person that you can reach out to and actually talk to, and physically talk to. And that's what I try to be on here.
Mm-hmm.
um you can't necessarily reach out and talk to every single person, as your subscriber count gets bigger and that kind of stuff. I totally understand that. I get that. But I try to be available and talk to as many people as I can. And and if I can't, then at least try to answer questions and that kind of stuff, you know in the comment section, and and that kind of thing. Just try to interact as much as possible with everybody.
Yeah.
um it definitely helps people deal with their new normal, I feel. So
Yeah.
what's Miss Denise saying here? She's always comes with the jokes. Have y'all ever joked with the cashier at restaurants saying, do I get a discount? I'm half off here. I think that
Well, I actually went with my girlfriend to get a pedicure, and I did get half off. They only charged me for 1 foot, so that was nice.
Are you serious? That
Yeah,
is
$20. It was a steal.
wow. That I've always wondered that because I never knew. I was just joking around, before, and I asked the lady. I was just like, so because I took my wife for a pedicure, it's just like, so do I get half off? She goes, she looked at my foot. She goes, shit, baby, sit down. I got you. Don't worry. Come on, we'll make something happen. Sit down, sit down. We'll make something happen. I was like, no, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I actually went through with it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
let him scrub up on my good foot for half off.
that's awesome. Yeah, we get a lot of that stuff. Um, that's something I didn't even get to ask you, but I'll ask anyway since we're here now. Is how do you well, kids, that kind of stuff. Kids, well, just kids and generally people in public. What happened? What do you tell people? Do you get annoyed
Well,
with it, or
that's an interesting question because a lot of people will thank me for my service, and
I was going to ask that.
yeah, a lot of people thank me for my service, and I am quick to say, "Oh, I'm not in the service. I didn't serve,"
Yeah,
because that's something that you see those guys in the airport trying to get bumped to first class wearing fake uniforms and
yeah.
stuff. That's ridiculous. But yeah, whenever somebody asks me, or tells me thanks me for my service, I let them know that yeah, I didn't serve, and. But sometimes people will come up to you. The kids are the greatest. I mean, I had a kid staring at me for about 10 minutes when I was at the pharmacy the other day, and I wasn't the other day; it was a while ago. But he was just staring at me, and then I busted him staring at me, and he looked at me and saw that I caught him, and said, "Cool shoes," really quick. So I thought that was pretty funny, slick.
You should have said, "Yeah, shoes are really cool. If you think that's cool, check out the leg."
Yeah, he's a good sport.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, Terry, man, again, I greatly appreciate it. I know my crowd appreciates it, and you are more than welcome to use this however you want. Share it around wherever you want. Tell people, hey, come check out this one-legged guy. He's a pretty cool guy. At least I hope you've had fun. Have you had fun hanging out with
Absolutely.
us tonight?
I had a blast, and I really appreciate you having me on.
Right on, man. That is amazing. Thank you so much again. I greatly appreciate it. Don't run off. We're gonna end everything, and then you and I will go backstage, and
Okay.
so we'll end it there. So,
Sounds good.
So, everybody, we greatly appreciate it. Mr. Terry, thank you so much again. I want to thank our wonderful sponsors. I want to thank Van Shoes, Bulow Prosthetics, Taggart and Torrance Podcast, Major's Mess Hall Podcast. Without you guys, this right here wouldn't exist. So, thanks everybody. Thank all my wonderful subscribers. Thank you all for coming tonight. With that, everybody, please drive safe.